lost his wife and child, he did make an appeal to government saying, please allow us to conduct a funeral service at that Cheptegei place so that we have closure for our loved ones, because he lost his wife and child and the bodies have not been exhumed. I think it's important that the regular updates do come through. But I would like to appeal to the Prime Minister, as that update comes on Thursday, can there be emphasis on the waste plan for Kampala? Because we have a disaster that is looming. KCCA tells us that Kampala generates between 2,000 to 2,500 tons of waste per day. That waste now does not have a home. They tried to go to Wakiso, it was not received well. They tried out Mukono, there is an arrangement that is not quite working out. When you move through different parts of Kampala, Right Honourable Speaker, you'll find heaps of garbage because it's not being collected. Can we know what the plan is? Otherwise, we're going to have another disaster, cholera or something of the sort, away from Cheptegei. Now, the other parts of Kampala and the surrounding areas, it's important that that update captures what the plan is. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Annette Mugisha, I hope, Right Honourable, you've taken note of that.
I have a matter of national importance requesting for relief and assistance for the victims of a disaster in Igala West in Bushenyi district. Right Honourable Speaker, the people of sub-counties of Nyabare, Kakanju and Bitoma Town Council were affected by the hailstorms, which affected them seriously, destroyed a number of households and crops. The major crops were affected are bananas, cassava, beans, maize, and sweet potatoes, plus tea and coffee plantation. Right Honourable Speaker, the disaster took place on August 28th, 2024 and September 9th, 2024 in Kakanju and Bitoma Town Council in Bushenyi district. The buildings were affected, 2 primary schools were affected, and actually some students, some pupils have not reported yet, and those homes that were damaged, people are sleeping outside. In summary, 1,460 homes were affected. Prayers. Right Honourable Speaker, the affected household should be assisted with planting materials and seedlings. 2, the affected schools and parish headquarters should be funded to reconstruct the damaged structures and also be given building materials like iron sheets. And lastly, the affected households should be given relief food items like posho and beans. Right Honourable Speaker, I have here a copy from the district already received in the office of the Prime Minister, and to justify what I have just submitted.
A copy of what, Honourable?
A report, a comprehensive report of the disaster that took place, and it comes from the district. I therefore ask you to allow me to lay. Thank you.
Yeah, don't mind, Honourable, because that's usually what the Prime Minister asks for, okay?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
We've taken note of it.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Yeah. Right Honourable?
Right Honourable Speaker, sorry for what happened in those areas that Honourable Annette has mentioned, but I want to remind colleagues that whenever we have such disasters, let us follow the correct procedures, especially going through the disaster committee, and you bring that report to the office of the Prime Minister, mainly to the office of the disaster preparedness, so that it can be handled. But I have taken note of what has happened to those people, and I request my sister, Honourable Annette, please let us get that information. Since you have it here in writing, you can forward it to our offices, or you can give it to me here, then we handle those cases. I thank you.
Thank you. Now, number one, for the record, it's not members of parliament who should be taking those reports. It's the CAOs, the chief administrative officer. So as members of parliament, we usually get copies and for record purposes and following up. So Honorable has a copy, her own copy of following up. She can pass it on to you so that it can help you, Right Honorable. But number two, Honorable colleagues, I have received very many issues of that nature. And I worked a little in that sector when I was a government chief whip. And OPM, we used to have Tuesday meetings, and I'm sure even now they do, and they discuss these issues. I think what we need to do, Right Honorable, this is the rainy season, and these cases are going to be coming up. I think you need to come here and you update the House on how prepared you are to address these concerns, so that we know you have food, you have tamperines, you have iron sheets, they are in store, and then members know if they are not there, they don't burden themselves. If they are there, they come. Because I have very many, I have a list here. And the answer is always the same. Okay? So, Right Honorable, can I request Wednesday next week? Right Honorable Prime Minister, Wednesday next week. Because you're going to have your meeting on Tuesday, you have cabinet and all that. You prepare very well an update on how prepared you are to mitigate all these disasters that are going to be coming up during this rainy season. It would help us to reduce on these matters coming on the order paper every day. Okay? Honorable Rabshija Margaret? Oh, you said you have a procedure matter, Honorable Enos?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You had given the Prime Minister instructions to bring a report on Cheptegei. And my honorable colleague...
Honorable colleague, I don't give instructions.
Okay,
Please,
you are directed.
You know, in literature, listen, in literature there is what we call diction. Diction, that's a choice of words. I use my words deliberately.
I apologize.
I don't direct a minister because I don't supervise a minister.
I apologize for the use.
And usually they take my request seriously. So please.
Okay, thank you so much. You had guided that the Right Honorable Prime Minister should bring a report on Cheptegei. And my honorable colleague mentioned something to do with the water that is running off the heap. That water, before the incident, had a treatment plant, but the treatment plant itself had failed because it eventually ends into Lake Victoria. And the problem we had then as a committee of climate change, we had requested money so that the treatment plant can be worked on. They were asking for 5 billion. But by the time of the incident, the money had not been provided for. So don't you think it's procedurally right? As the Prime Minister comes to give a statement, they give us an update on the treatment plant, because this water that is running off the heap is actually ending in the lake, and it's these lakes that we are feeding on.
Thank you.
I begged for your guidance, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable, that's not a matter of procedure, but the minister should take note. Okay? But that's not a procedure. Procedure has to do with how the house is running on that same day. Thank you. Let me pass Honourable Rabshisha, then I allow Honourable Sechku.
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mine is a matter of national concern on the non-payment and discontinuation of the part-time teaching staff by Kyambogo University management. Kyambogo University, Right Honourable Speaker, is one of the Uganda's largest public universities that has been in existence for 21 years, and it boasts of a specialty robust program of skills training for the so-called Bazukuru. However, there has been an ongoing challenge of the staff because they are not being paid on the payroll. So there is a problem with the management over that non-payment of salary because they are not, and yet we have so many part-time teachers or lecturers who constitute 80% of the university payroll, because out of the required staff of 1,281, they only have 401 lecturers part-time. The story of the non-payment of salaries seems to be synonymous with the institution's name, Kyambogo. As in the 2023, part-time lecturers threatened to withdraw their services and or not to give back, or to, sorry, not to set examinations. And so, with that, then the government, the staff members showed that there was a gap, because those remaining who are on full-time pay, they cannot do much because of the workload. And currently, I've been informed that there is a deficit of 5.6 billion Uganda shillings that has been accumulated over 13 months in salary arrears. But the Department of Mechanical and Production Engineering is demanding up to 16 months of salary arrears. Interestingly, the Human Resource Department, instead of working to make sure that people get what they are claiming, they instead dismissed all of them, those part-timers, and recruited another team of the same category of those who are not, those who are part-timers. So there is a challenge, and I feel that we should be able to look after the workers in this country, because many of us have gone through the efforts of those workers, irrespective of where they belong. My prayer, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, that the Speaker could help us and maybe come up with a committee to investigate and make recommendations on how to ensure that the affected workers get paid their salaries. Number two, prayer number two, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I pray that the Speaker helps us to have a forensic audit of this very good institution for those of us who passed through there, but now it's a nightmare. Right Honourable Speaker, I submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honourable Sewung had a related matter related to that, which I had suggested.
Yeah, thank you. As a shadow minister, I also raised this matter that has always come whenever the term is beginning. I made a round call in a number of districts, and the schools have not got capitation grant. But the Minister of Education, Higher Education, was on radio directing head teachers to buy school items, materials for the new curriculum with no funds. And what's happening, Mr. Speaker, as we talk now, news are running that students are not reporting to school. I think they have got wind of what is happening. Whenever a term is to begin, teachers must be at the school at least a week before to prepare. They have to be there to prepare. That's what private schools are doing. But here we are, Minister of Finance has refused adamantly, if at all, always not to send money in time, whereas this Parliament directed that schools should get their capitation grant 15 days before. Government is paying 3,000 shillings per child per term. 3,000. And the term has 92 days. But you have failed to send this money in time, and you are going to arrest head teachers that they stole money. They are not doing well. Because if you give them money after the term has moved 2 months, that means it can be their share. They will not be able to buy chalk. They will not be able to buy pens. What are teachers using to prepare to start teaching? So as a shadow minister, can we know when the minister was directing head teachers to start buying scholastic materials for the new curriculum, and we have candidate classes, where are they getting their money from? They are from their poor, bigger salary. And Mr. Speaker, through you, the Minister of Finance is here. What is failing you to send money before the term begins so that these teachers can do something? But Mr. Speaker, whether you go anywhere, students have refused to report, majority. But we are, as members of parliament, we have been pushing. We have talked to parents, take your children to school, but there's nothing to do at school.
Thank you.
They are taking them to slash. That's my matter, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy the Honourable Minister has come in.
Honourable Minister of Finance, release of capitation grants. No, the money is released by finance. Capitation grants.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the matter being raised by Honorable Gonzaga is a matter of national importance. And from the way he is portraying it, is like as if government is not doing anything, which is not the case. Mr. Speaker, I need to come back here tomorrow with facts and figures about what we have budgeted, what we have released, and what we plan to release in October.
Thank you. The minister has asked to come back tomorrow with facts. So let him come tomorrow with facts. Yeah, there is nothing to contest about that. Okay, so Minister, tomorrow, we shall give you an opportunity to give you, to update us. Honorable, no, let's wait tomorrow when the minister updates. Honorable Minister for Education, the issue of Kyambogo failing to pay staff.
Mr. Speaker, apologies. Honorable colleagues had moved out within the lobby here. I wanted maybe to get the correct information. So
Can you link up with Honorable Rabshija, and
Yes.
then you update us tomorrow?
I thank you. Right on, Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Sechkubo, had allowed procedure? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for allowing me this opportunity. Right Honourable Speaker, I rise on a matter that touches on the way this Parliament is proceeding. We had an issue, and indeed we came up with a motion in respect to our commissioners for the removal of our commissioners. And we did all that is provided for under our rules. That included, among others, drafting a motion with grounds and then the collection of signatures, which we did. And under these very rules, Right Honourable Speaker, a notification was made to the clerk to Parliament, having satisfied all the requirements. And indeed, we knew the process had been set into motion. And it was clear that within 14 days, the matter would be brought on the floor of Parliament for debate, so that it can end in one way or the other. I'm not standing here to say that the motion must have succeeded. That's not my statement. But I'm saying the motion should have gotten justice. Having scored on all the grounds, having set it into motion, it had to be entertained by this House. There were other issues that happened where those being accused chose to take themselves to court, who were not witnesses, we did not give evidence. Thank you. But, Right Honorable Speaker, a motion supported by 186 signatures formed part of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, the moment it gotten into the processes of Parliament, it had to be processed to its logical conclusion. To its logical conclusion. While we were in Gulu, I rose on the same matter, and the then presiding officer, the Right Honorable Speaker, used some other language, but then the essence was that will be handled in Kampala. And here we are in Kampala. Right Honorable Speaker, as members of Parliament and you, our leader, the Speaker, we are all subject to the rules. When without any justification, yes, indeed we got correspondences, but once a matter had gotten underway, it had to be resolved by way of chair. The Speaker in chair would give a ruling in one way or the other, having received this motion. And we waited. In one way or the other, we cannot go by letters. But the House had to be constituted, fully constituted, so that we get a ruling from the Speaker while seated in the chair, because that is the authority you get over this House. To date, we've not gotten that. And we are looking at the rules. We are forced. No. Yes. Yes. Most obliged, Honorable Odria. Thank you for the input. And indeed, he's making me look at our rules of procedure and Rule 224. Rule 224, when everything else is stopped, we have no way out but to look at Rule 224. Rule 224 talks about the contempt of Parliament, where an act or omission which obstructs or impedes Parliament in the performance of its function, or which obstructs or impedes a member or officer of Parliament in the discharge of his duties, or affronts the dignity of Parliament, or which tends either directly or indirectly to produce such a result, shall be contempt of Parliament. And we are extremely constrained, Right Honorable Speaker, with a lot of pain for us to go through the rules once again. You are our leaders. You are presiding over this House. But these rules don't give you also room to hold Parliament in contempt. They don't. And when we read the letters written that there has been a court directive, once court ruled that Honorable Zake be reinstated as a commissioner, and it has never been effected. How come that now the judgments are being applied selectively, Right Honorable Speaker? We are humble before you. We are before you. This is our House. Before you know it, Right Honorable Speaker, according to the evidence we have, we went to court and got a record of proceedings. And in the record, you'll be surprised. There are 2 sets of minutes of that very impugned service award. In one of the minutes, chaired by the Right Honorable Speaker, with commissioners, Honorable Matthias Mpuga, Honorable Kampulira, Honorable Sirwanyi, and Honorable Esther Foyochan, and other members of staff. But another set, we are seeing the Right Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, you attended that meeting, and other commissioners. So every day as these matters stay on, there are new inputs being made. And yet from the word go, the deputy speaker was not in that meeting. But finally what we are getting now, you are part of that meeting. And there are changes. Every day we delay, new inputs are being made, corrections to the minutes are being made, and we are left at a loss. So, Right Honourable Speaker, why are you doing this injustice to this House?
Thank you.
Why are you doing the injustice to this country? We are humble before you. But as we wait for your time to bid, you are putting in other innovations in the minutes. You are putting other record on in the minutes. And we look ugly. This House is looking ugly. We are looking very bad, Right Honourable Speaker. And we thought we should avoid the technicalities. You must rule on this motion in one way or the other. We may lose the motion, that doesn't matter. But for the honourable members who appended their 186 signatures, they need justice to this matter. We can't just walk away. We need justice, because short of this, you will never get a motion to be supported and sponsored by members of parliament.
Thank you.
And Right Honourable Speaker, as I take my seat, I beg that you guide strongly and firmly this House on our motion and what you want us to do. Tell us what you want us to do. Having fulfilled all the requirements, all everything possible. But at the end of the day, the bigger picture we have is we all contribute in the fight against corruption. We are all, we are going to say that we are holier than others. But we are saying we are making our humble contribution in the fight against corruption. And this fight must begin with us. And whereas you stood tall, I'm telling you, the records we have, your name has also been included as we speak now. I therefore rest my case. Yes, we have it. I rest my case, Right Honourable Speaker, and will await your guidance on the matter. I thank you so much.
Thank you. No, let's take it easy from here. Thank you, Honourable Sechkubo. And I think it was very important for you to raise this matter. Number one, I received copies of the communications between you, the lead petitioner, and the Right Honourable Speaker. The Right Honourable Speaker chose to communicate that way because that's a matter which had not yet come on the floor. It had not yet come on record on the floor. It was a matter that was still in the process. If it had been a matter that had been already on the floor in terms of the petition reaching here, her ruling would have been here. That's number one. Number two, in that communication, the Right Honourable Speaker communicated to you properly that she had invoked the res judicata rule, which means a matter that is being handled by a competent court. I saw your response to her, and where you were contesting, but she said the subject matter had been adequately dealt with by the courts, and the same courts had ruled in previous cases, warning Parliament and any other institution against going on with matters on which court has already pronounced itself, whereby the only option that would be available would be an option of appealing to court. So, as presiding officers, we determine the business that gets placed on the order paper. But in doing that, we must be very cautious of our national laws. The moment the laws hinder you, this is not the opinion of the Speaker or her wish, no. This is a court ruled on that same subject matter, and her hands are tied. Okay? Her hands are tied. If you want this to be communicated to MPs, I think we can do that. That shouldn't be a problem, Honourable. But really, I request Honourable colleagues that this is a matter where the leadership of Parliament has given very clear guidance and the hands are tied. Me around everybody on the same.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, with due respect and with the proper interpretation of various court rulings, take an example, the one of Cheptegei, where court ruled that Cheptegei should be accepted back, reinstated to the commission. It is this same parliament, led by Anita Among, who, listen carefully, who disrespected the court ruling and locked him out till date. Right Honourable Speaker, it's this same parliament, get me carefully, it's this same parliament that is now going into contempt of the rules and procedure of the Parliament of Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker, our petition was very clear. Rule 10, Rule 110 of the procedures of this Parliament gave us various options to launch our petition. We did not look at service award. Actually, the rule does not have a provision. The rules do not provide any provision as service award for impeachment. We have various options, grounds for impeachment. We have grounds of misconduct. Help me with my note. We have grounds of misconduct. We have grounds of having insane brain. Yes, in case a commissioner. And we have grounds of incompetence. And then we have grounds of insanity. So when you look at service award, was not one of our main grounds or the pillars for the petition. Therefore, the court ruling on service award cannot be a ruling to bring down or rubbish our petition. Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, it must be in record that the 168 members of Parliament, 186, pardon me, the 186 members of Parliament who appended their signatures represent constituencies. And I want to give you guarantee to this House that each one of us has a minimum of eligible voters of 25,000. And if you check the 186, that's equivalent of about 4.6 million voters in this country who can determine a vote of a president. Right Honourable Speaker, we are begging for your indulgence. To be on record, our petition, which has met all the conditions, cannot be rubbished the way the Speaker is trying to do. If she wants to rubbish it, it shouldn't be in a manner of writing to us. The petition has met all conditions to be put on the order paper and we debate it. Why is it not being debated? We are not 100% sure that we are going to win, but we need a debate. We want to be heard. Why are you not being neutral? What is the problem with the Speaker, Anita Among? We demand for our petition to be heard on this floor of Parliament. You are not going to let down Ugandans. You are not going to let down the institution of Parliament in this country. You are not going to do this. We are not ready to witness this in history. If you buy to be part of it, I am sorry for you, Right Honourable Speaker. Leave it to the one, because when you Gulu, the Speaker, Anita Among, made it clear that don't bring your manyanga here. We shall handle your matter in Parliament in Kampala. Where is she today? We've been waiting to face her here. Where is she? Why is she running away? We need this matter to be debated. We need this matter to be debated.
Thank you, Honorable.
I rest my case.
Thank you.
And
Now-
we are monitoring closely. We are
Thank
not
you.
about to give up.
Thank you. Now, Honorable colleagues, Honorable colleagues, I request we don't personalize these matters. Okay.
Who doesn't know? Who
No,
doesn't
Honorable
know?
Sechko, please.
No, who
You
doesn't
know,
know in
I've
this
given you
country?
opportunity. Yeah, please.
Who doesn't
remain
know in this country
there.
that our motion is being fought?
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, Honorable Sechkubo, you received communication of the Speaker. If you are not satisfied, kindly write back. Okay? No, please, Honorable Sech. No, please, Honorable colleagues. Thank you. Next item.
Right, Honorable Speaker, just one.
No.
Item. Right, Honorable Speaker, just for this.
Let him mention for the record. Yeah. Honorable Sechkubo.
Speaker, it is still within your powers. Leave alone the correspondences. Once the matter has arisen, whether you are declining it because of the sub judice rule or because of the res judicata, I know this parliament is not transforming itself into some court. We are not. But also, number two, make a ruling in the chair. Because all the requirements for the motion were fulfilled. Make a ruling so that it is part of the Hansard, so that the future generation can quote the same. Because this is a record, and the Hansard can only be the official record of this House. And once the process was underway, you make a ruling in that chair.
Thank you.
Not fall back into correspondences, because it will not be able to address our matter, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Sechkubo. I've noted your concern. Okay, I've noted that. Kindly allow me to consult. Okay, because even me as a presiding officer, I have technical people I consult. Thank you. Next item.
Item 3, laying of papers 1. Report on public debt, grants, grantees, and other financial liabilities for the financial year 2023-24.
Honorable Minister for Finance. Honorable Minister of Finance. Honorable Minister of Finance. Please. I'm the custodian of rules. I determine whether procedure, whether order, whether what. Okay? Please. Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minister, first wait. Honorable, there is nowhere it is written in our rules that when a member stands up on procedure, a presiding officer must stop and first get it. I want you to have that. Okay? So as a presiding officer here, I've made my ruling. Honorable Minister, continue.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay on the table a report on public debt, grants, guarantees, and other financial liabilities for financial year 2023-2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you. The report is referred to the Committee on National Economy for consideration and report back to the House.
Item 3.2, report of a delegation of Parliament to the 4th East African Congress of Accountants in Kigali, Rwanda, pursuant to Rule 33 of the Rules of Procedure.
Honorable Nakut, we use just 10 minutes by giving highlights.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I beg to lay a report of a delegation of Parliament to the 4th East African Congress of Accountants, HIACOA, in Kigali, Rwanda, in April 2024. Right Honorable Speaker, as permitted by Rule 33, allow me give 3 key highlights about the 4th East African Congress of Accountants, where we participated. Right Honorable Speaker, it was a 3-day Congress. It was a 3-day Congress, and Uganda, Parliament of Uganda was represented by 5 delegates. There were over 600 participants. Ugandan delegation was the second biggest delegation that appeared in that Congress. There are 3 issues that I wish to draw our attention to arising from this Congress, and I will highlight them. Number 1, participation of the East African accountants and auditors in the provision of services in the region. Right Honorable Speaker, even though we have the East African community and the agreements therein, not every country has opened their doors to the accountants from all the countries. Some countries have opened, some have not. So there is work to be done, and we appeal that the Ministry of East African Community Affairs will champion the harmonization process of our laws so that the accountants and auditors in Uganda and other East African countries can give these services with ease in any of the East African countries. Number 2, Right Honorable, we had a discussion with the leadership of ICPAU, and we saw the need to widen the scope of ICPAU to cater for full grooming of the accountants from lower levels to the CPA levels that we have now. The learning was from Rwanda that has improved their numbers and the quality of their profession because there is no hindrance to the CPA Rwanda. And so it is our wish that when we come for leave to amend the Accountants Act to cover the scope of ICPAU and the needs of the East African community, that this House will cooperate. Thirdly, I said 3 issues, the final one. We had a representative of the Secretariat of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area in that Congress. She gave a report on the contributions and the participation of countries in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. She also said that funding for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat is computed based on the level of GDP. And that means, given our high GDP, Uganda contributes or has obligations which are higher than other countries. And she challenged us that we should find out from our countries what we are doing to make good use of that contribution. That means we should take stock of the goods and services we are selling and supplying to the countries in the continent. So based on that, it is our considered view that the Ministry of Trade takes stock and also tables to this House what our participation in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Those are the 3 issues I wished to say. But now let me say a vote of thanks. Yes, to the members that participated and represented the Parliament. The Honorable Tayebo Habat is here. The Honorable Aleper Moses. The Honorable Loi Katali. The Honorable Bish Roland Njomugenyi. And myself. These members delegated me to lead them And that's why I'm reading the report on their I laid the report on their behalf, and I wish to thank them. They did not give me any hard time, and I'll be happy to work with them again very soon. I also wish to thank you, Right Honorable, and the Right Honorable Anita Among for making it possible for us to participate in this 4th East African Congress of Accountants. Otherwise, without your support, it would be difficult. I also wish to thank the Honorable Minister, CPA, Andrew Musasizi, for pushing that we participate in this very important Congress. I beg to submit, Right Honorable.
Thank you. Colleagues are appointing a time for debating this report as required by Rule 33 of our Rules of Procedure. Next item.
Item 4 on the other paper, motion for resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to Rebecca Cheptegei, Uganda's foreign cross-country long-distance marathon runner and Olympian.
Honourable Minister Peter Gwang.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move a motion, a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Rebecca Cheptegei, an Olympic athlete and a sergeant of the Uganda People's Defence Forces, for her enduring and patriotic contribution to the sports development in Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker, I move under Rule 56 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda. Whereas the Parliament of Uganda received with deep sorrow the tragic news of the death of Sergeant Cheptegei Rebecca, Uganda's Olympic athletes, which occurred on 4 September 2024 at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret, Kenya, aware that Sergeant Rebecca Cheptegei has had a celebrated career serving the Uganda People's Defence Forces from 2007 with the honesty and integrity, rising from the officer to sergeant through sports, noting that Sergeant Rebecca Cheptegei was a celebrated long-distance and marathon runner who represented Uganda in many international competitions on track, road, and cross-country, including the just 2024 Paris Olympics, World Athletic Championship, which took place in Budapest, Commonwealth Games, World Mountain Running 2022, World Cross Country Championship, All African Games, Budapest 2023, Kampala Marathon 2014, Poland 2013, and 2010 Punta, Spain 2011, as well as many other local and international marathons. Recognizing that Sergeant Cheptegei was an athlete of distinguished talent and skills, who through a strong work ethics, confidence, professionalism, commitment to her sports and patriotism, set an international and local records. Her illustrious career in sports complemented government efforts to change the narrative about Uganda internationally. Indeed, she is among the elite athletes, the unsung heroes of our nation, who have headed to the call of duty to not only raise the Ugandan flag through sports and international stage, but also to inspire our youth and the generations to come to live a purposeful, driven life. Her life is an epitome of success and illustrated by her achievements that have been etched into annals of the history, and this include but not limited to the following. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, if you look at the achievements my daughter, our fallen daughter, has made, there are about 15 of them. She was a gold medalist in the World Athletics Mountain Run, trailing in Chiang Mai, in Thailand, where I was present. She was a gold medalist at Podav City Marathon in Italy. She was a gold medalist at St. Paula in 10 kilometers race in 2013 in Spain. She was a gold medalist at the 47th Etrion of the Cross International Competition in Spain 2013. She was a silver medalist at Fire France Marathon in Italy in 2023. She was a silver medalist in Madrid in 2021 half marathon in Madrid in Spain. She was again a silver medalist in Dakar half marathon 2029. She was a silver medalist in Kampala City Marathon, half marathon in 2021. She was a bronze medalist in the World Military Games in Rio de Janeiro in 2011. She was a bronze medalist at the Guangzhou half marathon, China 2016. She was the fourth in AD Nok Abu Dhabi Marathon, United Arab Emirates in 2022 with a national record of 2 hours 22.7 microseconds. She was the fourth of the just concluded All African Games in Ghana, in Accra. She was the fourth at the Congo-Brazzaville Marathon in Congo, and she was the seventh at the Doha Marathon, Qatar 2024. She was the 12th at the Shanghai Half Marathon in China in 2017. Those are but to mention but a few. Appreciating that Sergeant Rebecca Cheptegei used her position as an athlete to promote the profile and international standing of Uganda and its people. The Uganda People's Defense Forces, the sports president of Uganda, and was a great inspiration to Ugandan athletes, especially women and girl child. Understanding that Sergeant Rebecca Cheptegei is survived by 2 biological children, and I want to put this on record, and one she adopted as her daughter because the young girl was left by a mother who disappeared up to now. So she has an adopted kid. Her 2 biological survived by 2 children aged 11 and 8 who are in their need of support. 4, she was the sole provider. Now, therefore, let it be resolved by this Parliament as follows: that Parliament collectively conveys its deepest condolences to the bereaved children, family, relatives, friends, the athletics and sports fraternity, and the people of Uganda for the loss of a globally acclaimed athlete, a patriotic soldier, and a responsible citizen. 2, that this Parliament takes cognizance of and appreciates the immense and enduring contribution made by Sergeant Rebecca Cheptegei to the promotion and the development of sports and the development of Uganda through sports. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, I beg to move.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Is the motion seconded? Yes. Honourable Kayemba Soro, Honourable Joe Senyon, Honourable Julius Achon, Honourable Tomaza, Honourable Herrero, Chief Whip, the whole House, Honourable Ramirama, the whole House, Honourable colleagues. Yes. Honourable Zake Francis. Yes, Honourable Minister, would you love to speak to your motion?
Right Honourable Speaker, when I speak about this motion, sometimes as a certified hustler who is before you here, you feel like crying. Sometimes we must appreciate where we come from. It's our history which drives us to work for this nation. For Rebecca, I want to confirm, I came to know her as a Minister of Sports when I met them as Team Uganda for the just concluded Paris elections. Like I always do, I tend to give a lot of time to understand the children whom I work with. I want to confirm, Team Uganda, and specifically, I was discussing with the Uganda Athletics Federation on the performance of our girl children in international competitions. For some of you who have been following athletics and sports in particular, you look at the girls' performance of Team Uganda vis-a-vis our neighbors. Our performance, with the exception of one, that is Paris Cheptegei, is a bit wanting. I took in interest to understand where is the problem. I want to confirm as a minister, unlike others, that some of these daughters accepted to confide to me their personal problems they were facing. And I want to say this: Rebecca, among the many, is among those who came to me and told me she had a family problem. Friends, and I call upon all of us here to first accept we must denounce bad cultural practices which still exist in our societies. Number two, we must denounce domestic violence. Gender-based violence, we must denounce. Because, truth be told, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, what killed our daughter was on the issue of property. Because she has been running in line with the records I have shared here, she has been winning some money. For that, some of us men still want to believe we have ownership of the monies of these children, of our wives, which I want to confirm here as to us men. Please, can we accept to work hard so that what belongs to us is ours and what belongs to our wives is for them? Right Honourable Speaker, the whole issue which has led to Rebecca's death is a question of my daughter had confided in me. She had a boyfriend. Boyfriend was based in Kenya. Yes, he was a Kenyan. She had bought properties. Unfortunately, my brother, the late, was not comfortable whenever she brought a topic of our development of our property. The late wanted that the names of the property should be put on his name. The late wanted that the account, the late husband, the account my daughter was controlling should be put in the shared names. Friends, look at the barbaric way at which our daughter died. How can in this 21st century you buy petrol and you come and pour to a human being and set fire? What kind of person is this? Friends, Rebecca, the message must live to help us address other emerging challenges among the population we have today. Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, same challenge is happening with others, which I want to say, I had promised them, and I want to confirm before the floor of this house, I am going back to go to meet all the families of these elite athletes, specifically ladies, to begin addressing some of these challenges amongst them with their spouses and their family members. Mr. Speaker, I want to specifically thank the government of the Republic of Kenya. Friends, the moment I got this information, I was able to link up with my colleague, the Minister of Sports of the Republic of Kenya, and I want to confirm, they had pledged to airlift our daughter to Nairobi Hospital under their own medical bills to cater for her. Unfortunately, Rebecca could not live to get this service done to her. She passed on. I want to thank Moi Teaching Hospital in Eldoret, the medical team who tried what they could to help our daughter. I want specifically to thank my dear President and my senior minister, who, having got the information, were able to come in to help. The President contributed 50 million shillings to help the family of Rebecca, who are still alive today. I want to thank the family of the UPDF. Thank you, Generals, for standing firm. Our daughter was given a burial of not of her rank. She was given a burial of a generals who are before us here in the August House. I want to thank the leadership of UPDF. Last but not least, Right Honourable Speaker, I want again to reiterate that gender-based violence is one we must all condemn in the strongest terms possible, so that we have a free world where all of us live equally in terms of the way God produces us. I thank you for giving us the opportunity to move this motion. May the soul of our dear daughter, Rebecca Cheptegei, rest in eternal peace. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. That's really emotional. You know, honourable colleagues, we sit on a lot. You might find there are even some of our colleagues who go through that. Yes. Especially females, but also including some men. Yes. You know, there is something I read Honourable Minister, there's something I read that some of these athletes, that their ATMs are with their boyfriends. You know?
Mr. Speaker, sir, that is the reason I have given. Can I be heard, Right Honourable Speaker?
Please, Honourable colleagues, let's listen to the Minister.
That is the reason I've given a big statement of saying we must denounce bad cultural practices which still exist. Why am I bringing this? In some of the communities in our country and in the neighboring country, they still believe that property, money, it should all be held by men. Mr. Speaker, I know of one case which I don't want to put on record, where one of my daughters, who is one of our national athletes, came to me and cried to me and requested me to talk to the husband. I want to confirm. I called the husband. I called the father of the husband. I called the mother of the what? Of the husband. I sat with them in my office here. I counseled them. And today, that friend of ours, that friend of mine, my daughter is finally peaceful and doing a commendable job. So the question is, like what you said, it's true, these things exist. And I really want to challenge us colleagues. It's important that we really get back to our society and explain certain roles. If not, you're right on what you've said. The last one which I'd forgotten, imagine this barbaric man. The poor girl attempted to run in the house to pick water, having burnt the mother, ran to get water to pour to the mother. The poor man kicked the poor girl. What kind of a human being are you?
Honourable Soro Kayemba. We on seconders. Please, honourable colleagues, we have seconders who are registered here. That's what we start with. You know, the motion is seconded. I hope you have copies of the order paper because they are listed on the order paper.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to join this Parliament to second the motion of paying tribute to our international foreign athlete, our sister Rebecca Cheptegei. It's so sad that Uganda went viral on international media over such a bad image. But I want to tackle it in a different way. First of all, how did our sister go to Kenya? She went to Kenya because she was looking for a better facility, training facility, to reach her dreams. That's how she got a man, a monster, that took her life. Actually, I would call him a beast. Our Honourable Minister and the government, to end these injustices and to end this character where our athletes are losing properties, are losing lives in Kenya, we should focus more of improving our training facilities here. We have the 38 High Altitude Center, which has been built for years and years, I think 13 years, and it's not yet finished as for now. Yet, if it was in a good way, our people wouldn't go to Kenya to look for better facilities. Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable Minister Ogwang did a good job in counseling the girl athletes. But we need fair budgeting for these other sports federations. We agree that football is the most popular sport in the country. But if other federations also got better budgets, maybe they would have a better person, a professional person who would speak to the athletes before doing this post-mortem. So I call upon the minister and the government to see that we improve these other sports disciplines, the budget. Imagine one getting 17 and netball getting 320 million shillings. Other getting 17 billion and another getting 320. So we think we need to get a way of how we can balance and do fairness of all the sports. When we speak about sports. Most countries have what we call high performance centers. These look like academies, national academies, where actually they are always in different regions. When they tap into a talent, they bring them together. They say together, because sports is based on 4 aspects: the technical one, the tactical one, the physical, and the most important thing is the psychological approach. Honorable Minister and the government, we are real things in our country. Where is the national center that helps to improve these athletes when they are still at the young age? So I think we should focus more of making a national academy, a national high performance center, not only national but even regional, where if we get talents at an early age, we get them, we nurture them, and all excel in the 4 aspects. The government of France, Right Honorable Speaker, named a place, a sports facility in Paris after our fallen hero. What is the government of Uganda doing? France, which is far away miles from here, there is a sports center that was named after this heroine. Honorable Minister, we need also to know, because we need to remember her always and always. The way she died needs to act as a sign for men, for all people, not to involve in domestic violence. I pray, as we are praying to see that we get more sports facilities. I'm happy that this time at least we got some, but it would have been done years ago, and it's not enough, because it's basically basing on the AFCON, which is football. Right, Honorable Minister, since we have many disciplines, those stadiums that are built should tackle other disciplines. We should have a gym for boxing, we should have netball and the rest. Lastly, as I'm concluding this, Right Honorable Speaker, the main issue for Uganda, especially for sports, is not prioritizing. Though I thank this parliament for the first time, it's the first parliament to give sports space. I thank you very much for doing that. But our main issue is about money always. We have the betting companies here in Uganda. I know National Lottery is trying to do that. But I would like to task, I don't know whether it's the right language, the Minister for Finance and the Minister for Education and Sports to engage the National Lottery and Gaming Board, so that these betting houses that take our money, and most of them are for foreigners, leave a percentage in the sports fund here. We need to develop a sports fund, a board to take it over, all out will manage, that will be another day. So that money can go to develop a stadium in Bukoma Nsimbi, can go to do Kacheka, can go and... That's what we have seen everywhere we have traveled.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. May her soul rest in eternal peace.
Now, I've seen there was no meeting between the mover and the seconder. Because the seconder was not even seconding. He was... he seconded by saying, no, you can't come up to... You chose him. Yes, as a mover, you chose him, now you're rushing to respond to him. You should have held the meeting and agreed to. So, Honorable Granny, I hope. Honorable, I'm still having members who are listed on the order paper. Honorable Naraisha Kaban, Honorable Santa Arum,
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand to second the motion to pay tribute to Sergeant Rebecca Cheptegei, our fallen Olympian, a marathon, and our heroine. Right Honorable Speaker, we have been paying tribute in this parliament for various sporting disciplines. But this afternoon, I stand in a very sad way and a sad moment to pay tribute to a fallen hero in the sports fraternity after being killed by a partner or a lover, for that matter, those by petrol and set ablaze. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a wake-up call for domestic violence, which is so rampant, not only in sports, but even in our communities. To this extent, Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the mover of the motion, the State Minister for Sports. He has tried to do his best, but Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to urge the mover that on top of what he's doing, let's put a serious desk, a structure which helps these people when they get their money, Right Honorable Speaker. Because you are one, and talking to these athletes, all sports people one by one, will not be so easy. And I join you together with the Minister of Gender. I'm happy that she's here in person. We need to educate, we need to sensitize our sports men and women who are lifting our flag so high. There are men who are out there who are just ready to prey on the money that these athletes and the sports women get from their sweats. Right Honorable Speaker, two, I would like to add my voice on the issue of lack of training grounds for our sportsmen and women. I want to thank the government that we have a high altitude training center which is soon to be completed. But, Mr. Speaker, the mover made mention of appreciating Sergeant Rebecca Cheptegei. How are we going to appreciate her? Are we going to build another training center and we name it after her? I would like to add my voice onto yours that this would be something so great to remember her, to enable much as she's gone, it will inspire many more youth who will live and up to what she has done. Three, Right Honorable Speaker, we have our runners always migrating to the neighboring Kenya, looking for the training grounds. The lady was very patriotic. She concentrated, she represented our country. When we had Olympic going on, some runners were running for other countries, but she was so patriotic that she went and trained in Kenya, but came back and ran for Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to urge that if we are really to remember her as a country, we need to get another stadium and name it after her. We have one, and one is not enough. Finally, Akibwa was already named. We need another name, gender. Mr. Speaker, sports is so much male-dominated. And I would like to urge the Ministry of Sports and Gender to find a way to make sure that the gender balancing in sports must be seen to help these women. Earlier on, in the past years, there were news that some of the girls were being asked to have sex so that they are put onto the team. And this is going to another level, that it happened in Kenya. This was the third time that the sports ladies were killed. So, Mr. Speaker, through you, the Minister of Gender is here. Let's put in place something to help the gender equality and to the country at large. I thank you. Rest in peace, dear Olympian.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I'm going to give you a chance. I'll first pick 3 people for specific reasons. Okay? Then I also go to the Sebei group. Then I go to ask the rest. Now the 3, She was a sergeant in the UPDF. So I'll start with General Masiko. Then we have our former Olympian, Honorable Achon, but also our star athlete, Honorable Azatom. You can, and he's even putting on evidence. And then I'll give Honorable Aran. Thank you. Then, Honorable colleagues, this is the only item we are going to handle today, so that I can give all of you a chance, if we can be very quick and we speak on it. Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity given to me as an institution that is bereaved indeed by the unfortunate incident of the passing of Sergeant Cheptegei Rebecca. Right Honorable Speaker, I support the motion of paying tribute to this young lady. As UPDF, when we received the information, we were greatly saddened and particularly touched by the manner in which she met her death. Right Honorable Speaker, as the Honorable Minister has indeed indicated, Sergeant Cheptegei Rebecca was accorded a befitting send-off, and it wouldn't have been any less. Right Honorable Speaker, it is indeed sad that Sergeant Cheptegei Rebecca met her death in a manner she did. As a policy, the security forces are giving priority to sportsmen and women to get space, to be given special consideration when we are recruiting, so that not only do they have a stable livelihood apart from what they get during their performance, but they have also guaranteed welfare. It is contradictory that a trained personnel could be treated this way. We feel sad, and we are going to take steps to ensure those other sports ladies and men who are, but she was looking for better facilities in Kenya. Right Honorable Speaker, I've had opportunity to visit the high altitude facility at Teriet near Kapchorwa town. It's not true that this facility is incomplete. To the contrary, this facility is complete and in use. What I heard, even fellow sports people, I think the other male counterpart, he was making appeal that those who still want to go out should take advantage of this facility. Right Honorable Speaker, what we ought to take note is that Teriet facility is a world-class facility. It can even host world games. I think what we ought to do as we pay tribute to this young lady is to urge the private sector to take advantage and begin putting hotels around Kapchorwa, so that in the future we can bid to hold world games. That facility is, I want to urge honorable members, it is worth visiting and see what this government has done. So with those remarks, may the good Lord grant Cheptegei eternal peace. I beg support.
Thank you, General. Honorable Achon.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
I would also like to add my voice on our fallen hero, the late Cheptegei Rebecca. Honorable Speaker, it is so heartening on when we heard the news. Honorable members, athletes or sportsmen generally, we come from a very deplorable background. In order for you to be a good athlete or any sport, you must come from a very poor background where your parents can pay even school fees, or your parents can even afford 1 million a day. It is very unfortunate we lost our sister. Imagine waking up in the morning and you run 12 to 15 kilometers daily. You're trying to find your way through to make a survival. Honorable Speaker, not many years ago, women athletes were not supposed to compete or to do any sports. But I'm so happy to see that the generation is changing, and also the government of this country is putting a lot to make sure sports really transform or change the lives of the youth. We do sports is a part of employment, Honorable Speaker. When you heard what Honorable Minister read, the performance of this wonderful young fallen hero who passed on, she had already made her way. She already made the family surviving with the small money that she had. It is very unfortunate she didn't make it. And then my appeal, I would ask Honorable Minister, I know there's some money which they are paying the well-performed athletes who have won medal. Can the government still continue to support or pay the family of our fallen hero for some few months, as she left a lot of, or many children, 3 as you talk about? Then, Honorable Speaker, I would also ask the government, if the government cannot build a stadium, I would ask something simple, maybe a school. I think this would motivate other young female athletes or sports ladies in this country. Or even the road. I think these are simple, because I look at, we have 2 occasions to pay tribute. Normally we do when somebody is still alive. Then secondly, we pay tribute when somebody is dead. But all this we must do something which would at least we would to remember our fallen hero, Cheptegei Rebecca. If we don't do this, it's just gonna end like this and she will not be remembered no more. I feel so hurting for whatever happened, and I can't speak much, Honorable Speaker, and I would ask that may her soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Honorable Achon. Thank you. Honorable Azato.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. On behalf of the people of Moyo District, and on my own behalf, I extend our sincere condolences to the bereaved family members, relatives, friends, the people of Buko, the Ugandans, and everybody, the members of Parliament, for the demise of Sergeant Rebecca. And we always say God gives and takes. The people of Buko, my sincere condolences. Mr. Speaker, while I was the chairman of athletics, Arua District, during those days, as well as the FUFA delegate for Arua District in Lawrence Molindo's regime, Sergeant Rebecca could come with her groups, with her peers to West Nile. And since I was the chairperson for athletics, I would always receive them and take them around, and they will participate in what we call Mayank race. There's Mayank race. Mayank simply means those districts that comprises of those that come from West Nile. And so she will come and will train them, and at times we will also pay a visit to Kapchorwa, and that's how we interacted. Mr. Speaker, Minister, this for your attention. Honorable Minister, this for your attention. This for your attention. Right now as I talk, Mr. Speaker, I have a daughter called Margaret Ijoria Aza. She has qualified to go to one of the European countries next month. Her accolades are here. I hope she's going to be protected. She's going next month. These are her accolades. I hope she's going to be protected. She's called Margaret Ijoria Aza. She's going to one of those European countries, like father, like a son. Lastly, Mr. Speaker.
Like daughter, correct it.
Like father, like a daughter. Thank you very much. I also have a son who is a goalkeeper anyway. Okay, lastly, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to bring this to our attention as the House. Number one, we should develop our athletics potential by using our land, not taking our runners to go to, participate, to go and train in Tanzania, in Kenya, or South Sudan. We have undulating hills. The terrain is so undulating. We have lowlands and so on where they can train. Number two, Mr. Speaker, as said by the minister, we should avoid gender-based violence in all areas of life. Not only that, Mr. Speaker, there was that idea of constructing 18 stadiums in the whole country. How far is that program gone, Mr. Minister? How far is that program? Because I understand Cheptegei Stadium in Modis is one of them, and also Barifa Stadium in the names of Docas in Jikuru supposed to be constructed. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I would like to congratulate and thank our Uganda cranes who are doing us proud. They are doing us proud. Let us pray for them. Let us encourage them so that they may qualify for AFCON for Morocco. And Mr. Speaker, right now as I talk, there's bickering, there's confusion, there's quarreling in the netball fraternity. What is happening there? Minister, help in that regard. Otherwise, to all of us now, let us take to sports so that we become healthy, we avoid non-communicable diseases, cardiovascular diseases, and diseases that affect us, like diabetes, like stroke, cardiac arrest, hypertension, blood pressure, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Sewanyana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also stand here to pay tribute to our athlete, Rebecca Cheptegei, who died from Kenya. Mr. Speaker, there are so many problems which have been cited here. And amongst the problems is the lack of a training facility, like how my shadow minister has said. It is true we lack a training facility which is ready for athletics training in Uganda. But that won't stop capable athletes from going somewhere else for better training. That's a fact in sports. Even when we get 88, people will come from Finland, Iceland, and train from Uganda because they would think that we have better conditions for them to compete. Even
the understanding of what we do in Senate, many people don't really get it. It's not just about bills and oversight, Mr. Speaker, but it is ensuring that we hold people accountable to the last, down to the grassroots, Mr. Speaker. So even the bills we bring here, it's not that we like debating, but it is to address the issues of the lack of transparency in government services, the lack of transparency in some of the procurement.
Rebecca at least had a name that could sound beyond her own area. So, but for those who are dying quietly, it's an issue which we have to tackle as leaders, as a community, not only political leaders, but leaders from all aspects of society. It's an issue that we must indeed see a way of tackling. We must put our heads together and get a solution on how best it can be mitigated. With that, I request that we stand up and we observe a minute of silence.
Because they would think that we have better conditions for them to compete. Even
for allowing me this opportunity. Right, Honorable Speaker, I raise on a matter that touches on the way this parliament is proceeding. We had an issue, and indeed we came up with a motion in respect to our commissioners for the removal of our commissioners. And we did all that is provided for under our rules. That included, among others, drafting a motion with grounds and then the collection of signatures, which we did. And under these very rules, Right Honorable Speaker, a notification was made to the clerk to Parliament, having satisfied all the requirements. And indeed, we knew the process had been set into motion. And it was clear that within 14 days, the matter would be brought on the floor of Parliament for debate, so that it can end in one way or the other. I'm not standing here to say that the motion must have succeeded. That's not my statement. But I'm saying the motion should have gotten justice. Having scored on all the grounds, having set it into motion, it had to be entertained by this House. There were other issues that happened where those being accused chose to take themselves to court, were not witnesses, we did not give evidence. Thank you. But